Hello, everybody. We'll get started in about 30 seconds here. We've got people piling in. Very good. Okay, 12:01 p.m. To be respectful for everyone's time, we're going to get started. So thank you for being here and welcome. My name is Ben Zelakovitz. I'm a co-founder of GetQuorum. Super excited to be here for our webinar, which is entitled Better Together, Simplifying Community Management with GetQuorum and FRONTSTEPS. Mark, if you could advance the slides, please. So the agenda for today, and this is going to be a short, to the point webinar. I expect that we should probably be in and out of here as far as content, somewhere in and around the 15 to 20 minute mark, with lots of time for questions, lots of time for you to go and get something to eat if you haven't already after lunch. So once I'm done blabbering, we'll go through a FRONTSTEPS platform walkthrough. We'll talk about how the integration with GetQuorum works. We'll talk a little bit about GetQuorum, and then the star of the show, as far as I'm concerned, is Mr. Jared Cruz, who will talk a lot about stuff that is relevant to us all in terms of how the combination of FRONTSTEPS, GetQuorum, and land property management has been working. So very excited to get it right into our content. So off we go. So just as a further round of introductions, you've got myself in the middle there with the headshot that I really don't like. So I'm Ben, one of the founders of GetQuorum. Mr. David Bradley joining us, VP of Product from FRONTSTEPS. David, thank you for being here. And Jared Cruz, who looks exactly like his headshot. So Jared, thank you very much for being here as well. And I think we're off to the races, Mark. Very good. Mr. Bradley.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I am super excited to be on this call today. I just want to kind of give everybody on the call an overview of who we are at FRONTSTEPS and make sure that you understand why we bring our partners like GetQuorum onto calls like this, and we do joint events. And it's really because we see ourselves, and we're very prideful that we are unifying community management. We are, a all-in-one platform that's fully connected, that offers payments, operations, communications, and security, all powered by AI. We focus on managers so that managers can focus on the things that really matter, and that's building healthy and connected communities. Our Verified Ambassador program is a really special part of our business because we really fully value our relationships with great partners like GetQuorum, because they expand what's possible. They give opportunities for folks to do things that we don't do natively, and they add value. And we believe in exposing our customers to partners like GetQuorum that share our values and absolutely 100% delight our customers. That's what being a verified ambassador is all about. So, I think the most important thing to remember about us is that we want to keep things simple. We want to provide secure technology. We want to build it on trust. And above all things, we bring our partners into this ecosystem to make something really special for you and give you optionality about who you choose to do business with. You can move on to the next slide, please. Awesome. So our ecosystem really is at the core. It surrounds Caliber. Caliber is our source of record. It is where all of your data lives, and that is primarily how our verified ambassadors connect with their software and our software is through Caliber. But we also have what we call the engagement layer, and the engagement layer is really a combination of our FRONTSTEPS Manager, which is a brand new platform in the last couple of years, coupled with Alley. And Alley is relatively new. Not everybody in the world knows that we have a fully native AI platform. And we call her Alley. And all of this together builds a really powerful ecosystem of system of record in Caliber, where our partners can connect to, as well as a system of engagement where our managers, use the technology on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to give you a little tour of that today. The main focus of the call is for GetQuorum, but I just want to give you just a little bit to think about there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move into a quick demo on my side. So if you give me a second, I'll share my screen and we will show you the ecosystem. Share my screen 1 second.
You're good to go, David, but you are on mute just in case. I don't know if that mysteriously happens.
There we go. Now I'm not on mute and you all see my screen. Is that right? Awesome. So what you're looking at is FRONTSTEPS Manager. FRONTSTEPS Manager is that new platform we talked about. It is a one-click access to all of the core applications that make our powerful ecosystem come to life. FRONTSTEPS Community, our homeowner platform, Caliber, our source of record, our payments engine, and FRONTSTEPS Dwelling, which is a very, very powerful visitor management application that all work together seamlessly with Caliber. Down the left side, you'll see our steps engine. The steps engine is critical because it is a place where agentic AI and human beings work together to complete projects. We have management features, so the ability to manage architecture requests, violations, work orders, invoices, all from a very convenient platform that has the ability to kind of really see what's happening within your community. We also have a full reporting engine that you can run and get insight. And then we have billing, association billing assessments here as well. But I do want to draw some attention to our Launchpad. And the Launchpad is really cool because this is a space, by the way, this is Allie over here on the right. I'm going to go ahead and close her down for a second. We were just building a project for a reserve study self-assessment. And she did a really cool job of pulling that together. And I'll show you kind of a little bit how she builds projects on the fly for you in a minute. But the Launchpad is what I want to draw your attention to. What basically we have the ability to do here is to pull or to add our verified ambassadors directly in to the application. You'll notice now I have my inbox, which is a custom link I set up to get to my email, and then I have GetQuorum. So now I have a link directly in my ecosystem to get to GetQuorum. So I would recommend that as you start to leverage their capabilities and technology, that you just add them, and they're always there and they're one click away. So that's probably the first thing. The other thing I'll show you too is that we can easily ask Allie for more information. So tell me about, oops, let me see if I can spell today. It's always interesting when people are watching you, you just can't type. That's my thing. So basically what's happening is Allie's looking around to see if there are any agents or specialists that it can work on. And it's really cool. It can just very quickly give you information about how you can learn more about GetQuorum. It's also worth mentioning that they're available here from our verified ambassadors page. So you can go in there and learn more about it as well. So we recommend that you add them to the Launchpad as well as learn as much as you can from Allie, because she can tell you a lot. Last, I'm going to show you guys really quick. I've got a prompt prepared for you. And this is just one of the agentic features that Allie really shines in. And this is the ability to build out project plans on the fly. So this one is a prompt that will onboard or create an onboarding plan for a new community. So I'm going to go ahead and let Allie work in the background. And what she's doing is she's checking first to see if there are any specialists that are available to do the work. In this case, she does it herself. But basically what's happening is that in the background, she's built a project and she is taking my instructions and spreading the work out over a 2-week period of time. And she's building out all the infrastructure that you need to be assigned to the people on your teams and make sure that the work is getting done and to the satisfaction of the community. So this is one of the kind of the key capabilities that you'll see is that Allie's quite good at taking a lot of heavy lifts, like building out project plans, assigning them to people, and allows you to kind of quickly have it created. So it's really neat. That quickly, I have a full infrastructure, right? The infrastructure is all the steps that have to be done. Notice that they're spread out automatically. Now I can go in, it's got suggested commentary, and it's really important. Allie doesn't just search her own memory, what she knows about our space that we've trained her to do. She also goes out to the internet and she finds the most current information. So in that reserve study example that I was working on, it actually was researching all of the local laws and bringing that data in too, so that when it builds the reserve study kind of action plan or project, it doesn't miss anything that's relevant to the local area where the community is. So this was just a quick little demo of some of the high horsepower capabilities of our AI platform, Allie. And that's it. I was just going to give you a little teaser. And if you're interested, you'd like to learn more about it, I'm always happy to get on a phone call and walk you through more capabilities. There'll be a way to connect with me. I'm sure that'll be posted out during this call and after. So love to show you more anytime. And now I'm gonna pass it back over to the GetQuorum team. You guys have been fantastic, and we're excited to see what you have to offer.
Thanks for that, David. That's really cool stuff. Very exciting. GetQuorum, I think, has lots of opportunity to improve some of the work that we do with AI. So cool to see it in action. So what we're going to do now really quickly is discuss how, if you are a FrontSteps customer, how would this integration work? Maybe what are some of the advantages to working with us via the integration? So Mark, if you would. So first of all, how does it work? What is the core value prop to FrontStep and GetQuorum customers? So first and foremost, what does it do? The integration automates the transfer of your roster data from Caliber into GetQuorum safely and securely. Once the connection is established, roster data will refresh from Caliber to GetQuorum daily, so that GetQuorum, without being instructed to do so, will daily refresh the any updates that come from your source of truth, being your Caliber database, on a daily basis. Further to that, there's a button inside of GetQuorum, which I'll show you, you can push. So once you make a change inside of Caliber, if you then need to push that into GetQuorum, for example, you can simply hit the sync or refresh button, and it will refresh your data on the fly. And what this prevents from happening is the exchange of any manual exchange of data. So there's no spreadsheets to massage, no emailing, anything like that. Once the connection is live, it is ongoing and should match your source of truth, being your Caliber database, pretty much at all times. So to get started, and please, FrontSteps team, if I misstep here, please let me know. But to get this party started, we need the API key and API instructions from FrontSteps, and to reach out to the FS marketplace at frontsteps.com, and that will help you verify GetQuorum's Caliber data access. And then FrontSteps will provide the API key and the credentials directly to GetQuorum. So simply instruct FrontSteps to do so, and then all of the magic will happen behind the scenes. So that is pretty cool. So here is a example of what your roster data might look like inside of GetQuorum. I'll bring a couple of, you can see the red arrows. We'll quickly kind of go through them. Starting on the top right, you can see that the integration is active. So if this was your community, you would know that on a daily basis, this is going to be updated. Other things that we do to prevent any kind of errors is, if you're noodling around inside of GetQuorum, we lock the data inside of GetQuorum, so you can't accidentally do something like erase a unit or something like that. Everything is locked. Everything matches your Caliber database. And so if you need to refresh, there is yet another big blue button there that says sync now. Simply by hitting that button, we will refresh on the spot, on the fly, from Caliber, to make sure that your data is all set. And then you can see the status tab on the bottom right-hand corner there, which will indicate that the last point in time with which that unit's data was refreshed, just to kind of visualize and help you understand, did this person just move in? Did the refresh happen? Did this unit properly get refreshed? You can see it, you can verify it. And this right here is the core value to our mutual customers, which ensures that we're not bugging you for spreadsheets, and you're not sharing data over email, which many people might believe to be not the most secure way of doing things. Okay, All right, so now the part that I know some stuff about, or more stuff about, is the GetQuorum platform walkthrough. This is going to be very high level, and we'll kind of talk most about it. We're not going to go too far into any of the platform, just to give everyone a sense of the service that we offer. So I started this business with my partners after being a board member in a condo, a disastrous plumbing project, and I got in lawsuits with plumbers and ended up managing my condo board during that time as a board member. That's how I learned acutely the pain of AGMs, and owners that don't want to go and owners that don't like to fill out proxies. So together with my co-board member and my third partner, we created GetQuorum in and around 2016. So we had this kind of life before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now kind of after. So the business has kind of changed over time. We started in the electronic voting, and that's really probably the most fundamentally understood value that GetQuorum brings, is we allow your ownership group to submit proxies, ballots, whatever your state legislation requires. GetQuorum is able to give you a solution that allows your ownership group to participate electronically in advance of and during your annual general meeting. So that is the core value that we bring. From there, we do meeting notice distribution. We have both electronic and paper-based delivery systems. So if you have a portion of your ownership group that you need to hard copy printed mail to, we have an integration with HOA mailers, and we have North American reach with high capacity printing presses in 4 or 5 different locations across the United States. So the last part here is the virtual meeting. So most people understand the concept of electronic voting, and there are lots of vendors that can do this. But what we have done is we have married virtual meetings with electronic voting, and that is what makes GetQuorum truly unique. Is with our Zoom integration. So we have, much like we have integrated with FRONTSTEPS, we have integrations with many providers, Zoom being our audio visual provider. So when we provide a virtual meeting, what we do is we link together your advanced balloting, your advanced proxy voting, whatever form of electronic participation prior to the meeting. We then provide you with a virtual meeting, a Zoom license, whether it's a webinar or a meeting, where you can host your meeting, and if required, and state by state, there's different legislation, some for condos, some for HOAs, it will vary. But there are, like, for example, in the state of Florida, homeowner associations where you are required to have voting during a meeting, and you are required to be able to have candidate speeches, and then the actual election happens during the meeting. So GetQuorum, and I'll show this to you in a very short video clip, will actually allow a voter or an owner to attend your virtual meeting and then to submit a ballot live during the meeting. And then all of the proper protocols and security measures are in place to make sure that that seamlessly integrates with your advanced balloting. So if you voted before the meeting, it will give you the chance to revoke your ballot and then to vote live if you want to change your mind, or it will prevent you from voting at all if that's what your state legislation stipulates. So just want to stress that GetQuorum, once we understand the state that you operate in, we know the vast majority of the states we've operated in, we can very quickly help you understand what is and what is not permissible based on your state legislation, and customize our service offering to make sure that it meets your needs. Got about 3,500 customers across North America, and we're a member of the CII nationally and in most of the states where we do meaningful amount of business. The platform itself has 4 pillars. I've kind of covered them a bit already. There's the electronic voting platform. That's before the meeting and then during the meeting. Second pillar is the virtual meeting, and that's powered by Zoom, which is industry best leading audio visual. We have our notice distribution platform. This is all like prior to the meeting. It's one of the most important parts because there are consequences to ensuring that everybody of your ownership group is properly and duly notified. So we've got a very sophisticated notice distribution platform that is tied into the 4th pillar, which is the most seldom used, but arguably the most important, which is reporting and analytics. So, we do, a couple thousand meetings every year, and I would say about 0.5% of them get contested. And nobody knows before the meeting, or maybe some do, that a meeting is going to get contested. So contested meetings can be, you didn't tell me this meeting's happened, so therefore it's not therefore your meeting's not valid. Or I didn't vote this way, I voted that way. So we found ourselves, but just, and not by virtue of anything we've done wrong, just by virtue of being in the election space, we are involved in contested meetings. And so we've been to court in various states, we've been to Superior Court. I myself, believe it or not, am an expert witness in election testimony. And so it's all based on the strength of our database, which has been battle tested, which is up with, and which has withheld being contested in court. And so you put together our electronic voting, virtual meeting, and notice distribution technology combined with reporting analytics, and you've got yourself a safe, secure way to deliver a owner meeting for your community. Okay, so this is the perspective of a voter. I'm not going to go through the database, sorry, the dashboard that a CAM would see, but this is what the owner would see. So they've received an email with a blue buttons, a link in it that is unique to the owner. That takes them into our voting platform. Each ownership gets a unique link. That link has a cryptographic token that identifies them securely, so they don't have to type their name, no passwords. From there, depending on your community, you can have any number of candidates up for election. You can write candidates in. Again, this is all state-specific stuff that we can tailor to meet your needs. So right here, we're just showing you an example of picking 3 candidates. There's a link there to connect to the resumes of the candidates. Maybe you're voting on bylaws or rule changes and whatnot. Maybe this is a proxy. Sometimes we're voting using proxy, in which case you're naming a proxy holder. Other times you're using ballots, which are directly cast by you as the owner. So a lot of flexibility there. Giving you an example of you get to see the actual legal instrument that you're signing. Is it a ballot? Is it a proxy? You get to see it there before you finally apply your electronic signature. So this is in advance of the meeting. Now we're looking very quickly at joining an actual electronic meeting on GetQuorum. And lo and behold, looks a lot like Zoom. So essentially we've taken Zoom's technology and stitched it on top of our platform. And so when you're joining a meeting, like this particular owner, Paula is, she can see that she has a proxy on file prior to the meeting, but she's decided maybe new information has become available to her. I'm revoking this proxy and I don't want to vote for Jared anymore. I'm going to vote for somebody else. So she's decided she's going to attend the virtual meeting. So now she's in the meeting, candidates are giving their speeches, and it's time to vote. As you're sitting on our website, the little thingy there will blink orange. I think thingy is the actual technical word for that. And what it does is it pops up our electronic balloting platform, and you ballot in line right next to your meeting. And this is the secret part for the value added part is it works directly with your advanced balloting and integrate and making tabulation instantaneous. So we take voting periods that have taken HOAs hours, days, and we can do it in 5 minutes. And so what it means is really quick, safe, secure meetings, and it is all delivered as a service to our customers, meaning that we will attend your meetings virtually if you would like us to, and everything is done as a service. There is very little room for error in this sort of line of work. And so GetQuorum's technology, together with our customer success team, makes it hopefully very hard for any mistakes to happen, which for most community managers is a bit of a relief. Okay, so that's about as quickly as I can kind of go through things. Now I will be quiet, and the star of the show, finally, thank you for being here. Jared, please tell us everything you know about everything.
Thanks, Ben and David, for having me today. I appreciate it. Let me just give a little bit of a background here. Leland Management has been proudly serving communities across the state of Florida for over 27 years, delivering trusted professional association management with a personal touch. Our commitment to excellence is matched by our drive for innovation. So that's why we utilize the FRONTSTEPS Caliber platform, a leading management software platform that integrates seamlessly with GetQuorum and a top-tier electronic voting solution. So this powerful combination really streamlines operations. It enhances community engagement and makes governance more efficient and accessible for everyone that we serve. So as for me, as the senior CAM with Leland, I've had the opportunity to work closely with both our internal teams and the FRONTSTEPS and GetQuorum development groups to implement the API integrations that truly make a difference. You know, I understand the importance of leveraging technology to streamline operations, and one of the most impactful projects that I've had the privilege of leading is this initiative for several of the communities managed by Leland, and I'll be talking about some of that today. So I'm excited to be here to talk about something that's truly transforming how we manage electronic voting across our communities. It's the integration of GetQuorum's electronic voting capabilities directly into our management software, which is FRONTSTEPS Caliber. Now, I know what you're thinking. Electronic voting can be a hassle. I mean, separate accounts, manual data entry, constant syncing, the looping fear of something might be out of date, right? As a manager, does that sound familiar? Well, not anymore. If we think about this before the integration, managers really had to juggle multiple platforms. They were manually updating owner data, switching between systems, and spending way too much time just trying to keep everything aligned. And in a state like Florida, where compliance laws are strict and ever evolving, that can be a recipe for stress. So this GetQuorum Caliber integration via API, this seamless connection, means that owner data flows directly from FrontSteps Caliber into GetQuorum automatically, accurately, and securely. So there's no more duplicate accounts, no more outdated information, and no more manual syncing. So what does this mean for managers and associations? Well, one, it's a time saving, significantly less time spent setting up and managing each community's voting processes. Two, peace of mind, knowing that the data is current and compliant. Three, security and accuracy. Because the information comes straight from Caliber, there's no room for error. And four, stress reduction, especially here in Florida, where legislation governs every aspect of our operations. This integration really helps managers breathe easier. So, why does this really matter? It's not just a tech upgrade. As a manager, it's a quality of life improvement for our teams. It empowers managers to focus, as what we just discussed today, focus on what really matters, which is serving communities and not troubleshooting software. For Leland, it's a step forward in embracing smart, scalable solutions that keep us ahead of the curve. So, with all of this, I really consider this a true win for both coming together, because together we are better together. It's simplifying community management with FrontSteps and GetQuorum. Personally, it's been rewarding to see how this seamless connection reduces stress for managers and empowers communities to engage more effectively in governance. Together with this integration, it's more than just a feature. It's truly a game changer. So, thank you to both FrontSteps and GetQuorum, for allowing me to be here today to share the story, why this integration has been a game changer for both the management company, and the communities we serve. I hope that maybe through some question and answers, I might be able to help explain something a little bit further or more in detail. But this integration, as both of you have stated today, has been seamless, has been secure, and has just, brought peace of mind. With my personal community that I manage right now of 5,000 homes, you can imagine the task of trying to make sure that data between two spreadsheets, whether it's going to be consistent or not between the two, I don't have to worry about that anymore. After my first year in working on this, that's out the window. It's now stress-free. I just put it in there, and then it's time for me to manage the community, the association, make sure, everyone has their ballots, everything is done, and that's what I have to focus on. I no longer have to worry about technology glitches or trying to make sure that data information is correct. So for me, that's a huge relief. And I'm proud of these two coming together and providing this to not only the managers, but also the communities, because they're the ones that bring this on. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Gosh, Ben, I'm going to say something really quick just because I have to. Jared, that was very well articulated. It's interesting because, from my perspective, we spend all the time talking to you guys about where your challenges are. I mean, that's what product is all about, is trying to find pain points and solve them. And the question is always, do you do it yourself or do you partner with somebody who's an expert in the area? And I think that's what we've done in this case. And I think you've done a really good job of articulating that to the folks on the call. And so appreciate your partnership 100%. I mean, Leland's super dear to us, and you guys are always on the cutting edge of taking advantage of everything that we ever do, whether it's a partnership or it's a or something new that we build on the platform. You're phenomenal at giving us feedback and telling us what's working and what's solving your pain points. And I think that was well done today. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. David, I completely agree. Jared, you were the mind that was behind this integration to begin with. And I knew that you had a big community, but 5,000 doors, I did not know. That sounds more like a small city. So yes, thank you for that. As far as reaching out to any of us individually, you can see contact information is up there for you to reach out to us. At this point, let's go into some question and answer. Mark, what do we got?
Yes, thank you, Ben, and thank you, David and Jared. Fantastically done presentation. And good afternoon, everyone. So as Ben had mentioned, the Q&A portion of today's webinar is now open. Feel free to use the Q&A chat box at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions you may have to the panel. We already have a few coming in. Let me just pull up my screen here. So we have our first question from an anonymous attendee saying, can they access voting results or meeting information directly from FRONTSTEPS?
So I'll hop in here. At this time, voting results are only available in GetQuorum, and they're done in a way that is specific to your state legislation. So sometimes you can see things beforehand, like if it's a proxy and it's, material alteration votes in certain instances. So there's a lot of legalities to when and how voting results are released to our customers. And so, that is a particularly sophisticated part of what we do. So at this time, voting results are only made available inside of the GetQuorum dashboard, but that's a very good question.
And I would also say it's a very interesting question, like what comes next, right? We never stop. We get something out there, we make it useful, we learn, we get feedback. That's really great feedback because we're poised in our current footprint, certainly on the FRONTSTEPS side, to surface whatever data that that the GetQuorum team decides to it's legal to put back on the platform, and that we can put up there for you in a more convenient manner. So lots of opportunity for us as we grow and continue to serve mutual clients.
And on that note, Mark, I'll read out this next question here because I think this is more along the lines of how GetQuorum and FRONTSTEPS can continue to strengthen the partnership and the integration. The question from Cliff is, if an owner accepts electronic communication in GetQuorum, will that reflect back in Caliber automatically? I assume that if they've accepted in Caliber, it will reflect inside of GetQuorum. So again, there are state-specific things that we need to be mindful of. But generally speaking, and Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the consent data comes along from Caliber into GetQuorum.
Yes, it's a one-way from Caliber to GetQuorum, and then you use the GetQuorum platform to log in to do the reports and everything else.
So it's one way. So we're pulling the data from Caliber into GetQuorum. And then GetQuorum has a relatively sophisticated consent management platform. So in the great state of Florida, you need to be able to consent to electronic voting in a separate process from consenting to electronic communication. And those two things need to be separated, maintained differently. So we will continue to work with Caliber at FRONTSTEPS to strengthen the integration. But for now, it's one way from GetQuorum back to FRONTSTEPS, from Caliber to GetQuorum. We can export and we can pull the consent from our platform to be provided back, but that is not automated yet. Sorry, Jared.
Well, and one of the things that I will point out, though, what your team can do is they can set up so that when the data is refreshed every night or so, when it's transferred over and updated, or you can update it manually on the back end. But when all that information goes out, I work with the account manager with GetQuorum so that the email notices to opt into electronic voting are automatically sent out every 2 weeks. So they're automatically sent out to the owners who have not opted in or said I'm opting out specifically of electronic voting. So the platform does send that out automatically until they accept or decline electronic voting, so that can be established from the back end. But all that information in the reports are all held in within the GetQuorum platform.
Good answer. There's one that's specific here to FRONTSTEPS.
Sure.
So
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll
Dave.
definitely take that one. Yeah. So I spent a lot of my time being a good product leader. You have to pay attention to what the other folks are doing in the space. And I'll just say this about all the competitors in the space. Sync is a quality organization. There's no doubt about it. I think they've got decent software. They when you think about FrontSteps and where we set ourselves apart from Sync and others in the space, it really comes back to this concept of partnership and a lack of fear to work not just with folks like GetQuorum, that we're not really in any type of competition, but we also will work directly with our competitors. And all of them in some way, shape, or form are partnered with us or integrated. For instance, our FrontSteps community platform will sit on top of Sync or Vantica or any of the others out there. And so you can get a common experience across your entire portfolio, regardless of what the back end is. We absolutely shine in the homeowner experience. That's where we focus. We believe that the key to being successful is to help manage an experience that's high quality for the largest number of people in the industry, right? So that would start with homeowners. There's more homeowners in our industry than anything else, right? And those homeowners, if they have a great experience and they have a self-serve platform that's designed to give them everything they need, homeowners and board members, then the value is that the manager, who again is our hero, right? We really see the manager as the hero in the story of HOA. Their lives get easier, right? That's why we built our own internal AI application, and we've been very patient about the way in which we build it and very meticulous. We've done it because we know we want to make lives easier for managers. And so our focus is a little different, right? We are certainly working on a lot of cool things in the back office for operational efficiency or whatever, but we want you to be able to go in and we want you to be able to win in this marketplace and have a competitive advantage in front of your homeowners and your board members. And that's an area where we are currently substantially better. I think the others are either acquiring their way there or trying to catch up in that space. And so that's probably the primary difference that I can think of. There's a lot more that we can talk about, but it really gets down to really just how we work with other vendors and other folks in the space and how we treat our customers like partners. And that's what we hang our hat on.
Thank you, David. Oh, some more good questions here. So Dawn, how is voting handled for older members who are not able to vote electronically? So aside from that being a general statement about the technical capabilities of old people, which I will be offended on behalf of old people here, okay? Dawn, I'm very offended on behalf of the old people. But so first of all, don't underestimate your older community, okay? We work with many 55 plus communities, not to suggest that people that are 55 are old, but they might be in those communities. So first of all, don't underestimate. But second of all, in the event that you are integrating electronic voting with paper balloting, that is part and parcel of our service. And it's very easy to ensure that your voters are, that you're able to quickly and efficiently cross-tabulate paper ballots together with electronic ballots. We even have a technical process and a standalone app that, let's say, for example, you're going to run a hybrid meeting where you've got in-person and a virtual component. And so the app allows you to run, we call it the registration desk. So what that does is allows you, as people are coming into your meeting, it allows you to check them in and say, okay, Jared's coming in, and you check, it'll show you Jared, and it'll say, well, Jared, it says here that Jared has a ballot on file. Jared, are you revoking this? And are you going to vote in paper at the person meeting, or do you want to vote electronically at the in-person meeting? What do you want to do? And you know, so it allows you to register and manage the attendance of your meeting. Further to that, once you have done the balloting, GetQuorum's dashboard has a very easy way to key in you would just tabulate the paper ballots, and for candidate A, B, and C, you would simply input the proper inputs, and GetQuorum will help you cross-tabulate that with your live voting. So I guess the answer is twofold: that voting is pretty easy for anyone, regardless of age. And number two, if you're going to have to use paper-based balloting, there's an easy way for you to combine your electronic votes and your paper ballots without having to worry that a ballot's been double counted.
Yeah, and Ben, I'll just share, because some of our community members are a bit older, and after the first year, You know, some chose not to, you know, just go with the paper process and just observe the electronic voting process. But afterwards, we've had so many more older folks just sign up for electronic voting because they just saw how seamless and easy it was. One click on that email button, they went to the screen and they were able just to go screen to screen to screen to vote on each of the questions that were on the ballot. And for them, they just found it a whole lot easier doing it that way. There's no separate system. There's no logging into a different account or trying to, you know, remember a password or anything else because it's authenticated by that email address and that data that was there. So that they opted in with. So all of that is pretty seamless and a little bit easier for, you know, some of our older folks to understand that.
Thanks, Jared.
Yep.
Another question we got here from an anonymous attendee. How mysterious. How does GetQuorum handle voting certificates? And is FRONTSTEPS working to incorporate the designated voter in the homeowner record? That is a huge time suck. So I can comment on the GetQuorum side. I can't comment on the Caliber side. Jared or David, do you want to talk about how Caliber handles voting certificates to the extent that it does, and then I can handle the GetQuorum side?
Jared, you're probably more familiar at that level than I actually am. So if you have some thoughts, great. If not, we can take it as an action item and follow up with whomever's asking that question.
Yeah, and I haven't dived directly into the voting certificate side of things yet because I don't handle that right now. But unless there's something else that David you know about.
Not off the top of my head, but I mean, I think I understand the gist. The gist here is, listen, I mean, there's something you're doing currently today,
Yeah.
identifying a voter as the designated voter inside of either Caliber or one of our other platforms, and it's tedious or time consuming, right? So the answer to the question is that Caliber customer, you should be, if you haven't asked for this, feel free to put it into our idea factory, and then also you've got my contact information, hit me up on it. I'm curious to understand it in more detail, understand where the pain point is, and figure out what we can do to make it easier. We're in a really strong position to do those kind of things, certainly with the AI component. Half of the things that we're building these days, AI is doing for us. So speed is something we can do that is changed quite a bit in the last year.
Right. And once you get access into the platform, into GetQuorum, and you're seeing the data seamlessly go over, you could check on those voting certificates, right? So if there's, you know, 3 owners listed and you designate one person to do the vote, you can, you know, make sure that that data is only going over there and then work with the GetQuorum accounting manager to ensure that that data is the one that's reflected on the platform. So that way, that designated voter is the only one who's opting in, and then that voting certificate is then of course recorded in the platform, and then you can download in the reporting section. So that is available. The capabilities are there.
I think, you know, Mr. This anonymous attendee here, great question. So when you're typically, when a customer begins to work with GetQuorum in any capacity, and we're just assuming that this is the state of Florida, the first task that GetQuorum deals with is the consenting process, which in Florida, as I've mentioned, it's one process, but there are multiple types of consents that we allow an owner to consent to. And so those are yes and no. Do you want to receive electronic communication? There are implications there I won't get into, but yes or no, do you want to receive electronic communication? And then designate the email address that will be used for balloting. So it is theoretically possible that a unit or a home can be owned by multiple people that want to receive electronic communication, yet according to state legislation, only one email address may be designated to receive and send and receive ballots for elections. So GetQuorum manages all of that with the flexibility that some owners will want consent, some owners will not want to consent for electronic communication, but then only allows one email address to be designated as the email address that will sign the voting certificate, which we store, which can be downloaded and exported per Jared's comment, and which going forward, no instruction needs to be given to GetQuorum on this. Once we understand that you are from Florida, we understand that ballots can only go out to those that have voting certificates. That is part of the service that we offer for you. And then I think it is a very intriguing enhancement to the integration is that, GetQuorum, maybe we, it's our turn to send some data back to Caliber, and maybe we should be feeding voting certificates and consent data back. I think Jared will tell us how his perspective on that. And, we're always happy, per David's comment, to continue to, get feedback like this and to make the integration even more functional for our mutual customers. Great. Okay. Last question, it would seem. I wonder if it's the same mysterious anonymous attendee. We work as a team for annual meetings and often have colleagues assist with the in-person sign-in. When working with the sign-in, can more than one person work with the spreadsheet at the same time? I presume what you mean is if you're using GetQuorum to manage the attendance of your in-person or hybrid meeting. And the simple answer is yeah. So if you've got maybe you're Jared and you've got 5,000 people attending a meeting, yeah, you're probably going to want to have a couple different hands at the in-person desk. And yes, it allows concurrent usage. So you can have a couple people at your front desk checking people in. It'll update in real time. So yeah, it's designed for large scale meetings exactly like that for that purpose. Okay, 12:46. There are no questions left in the docket. So I want to once again thank Jared for being here. David, thank you for being here. I know I learned a lot and definitely some takeaways for GetQuorum in terms of things that we can continue to improve upon to do better with this integration. So maybe David will be in touch.
Sounds great.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you all.
Everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a great afternoon.